Previously on Marvel's Midnight Suns.
See you soon, Rox.
The sleeping titan has awakened. The Herald of Cthon.
No, it's the freaking Hulk! And I just gave him an upgrade.
So, it's time for them to move over and let the kids take the reins.
Hey, thanks for coming, everybody. I know we're all stretched thin at the moment.
We're all here for you, Robbie. We know this is important to you.
But we should move things along. I know what you're all thinking. You thought Blaze was a major league asshole.
Whoa, I thought Professor Xavier was the mind reader, Logan.
Quiet, you. Anyway, Blaze. Yeah, he wasn't nice. But it's not a nice world. And sometimes you gotta be that way to get things done. And he really got a lot of things done. So, you kids remember that. You won't always be so fresh-faced and innocent.
Thanks, Logan. You said it better than I ever could. To be honest, I really struggled with what I was gonna say. Because I used to worship the flaming ground Blaze rode on. And then I met him. And safe to say, I didn't worship him so much anymore. Fairly certain I hated him. Right until he went and sacrificed his life to save mine. Johnny might not have been perfect, but at the end of the day, he was one of us. And I'm glad to have known him. To Johnny Blaze.
Johnny Blaze.
Johnny Blaze.
Johnny Blaze.
Is that it? Can we go now?
I know what it's like to feel guilty about the death of a loved one, too. My Uncle Ben, it's my fault he died.
Did you kill him?
Well, no, but I could have stopped the guy who did. Hey, those are beautiful. What are they, some kind of daisy?
Something as rare as she was.
I'm sure she forgives you.
Thanks, Peter. But I kinda want to be alone right now.
Yeah, okay, sorry, just trying to help.
I know, but this is not something you can help with. Do you think what Peter said is true? That Agatha forgives me for what I did?
I know she forgives you.
Yeah, right. You can't know that.
Well, I do.
No, you don't. No one does. She's dead and it's all my fault. It's always my fault. If I had learned to control my powers better, she would be here today.
Maybe there is a lesson in all this tragedy.
Yeah? And what's that?
You learned what happens when you let yourself get out of hand. The best way to honor Agatha's memory is to learn from those mistakes in order to ensure it will never happen again.
See, you say it's not my fault, but that's not really what you think. You think I'm as dangerous as Caretaker does. I still haven't been able to look her in the eye since I've been back. She hates me.
Can you blame her? Agatha was all Caretaker had. Her life partner. She sees you taking that all from her.
No, I can't blame her any more than I can't stop blaming myself. Maybe I should just ask for her forgiveness for destroying her life. Maybe it would make things better?
Agatha would want the two of you to be reconciled.
I know. I just don't know if I can make that happen.
Try. For Agatha.
Yeah. For Agatha. I, kinda need a few more minutes alone with her. Go on without me.
I will take my leave then.
Thanks, Hunter.
Why are you smiling?
Because you're dead. Hangman.
Damn it.
No offense, Hunter, but you suck. I couldn't have come up with an easier answer.
The irony of a Dampier telling me that I suck is not lost on me, Eric.
Hey, keep it down or this game isn't the only thing you'll be losing tonight.
Is that why you brought me here? To tell me how much I suck at parlor games?
Actually, I'm here to tell you how much you don't suck. You're turning out to be one of my favorite people, and I don't like people.
What about Captain Danvers? Is she not your favorite person?
I don't know her as well as you. Been a while since I've had someone to lean on who handles their inner demons with as much swagger as you do. You remind me of this guy I used to work with, Hannibal King. He knew how to walk the line between good and evil without falling off, not unlike you.
Sounds like another kindred spirit.
He was. Man, was he one lousy vampire. But I guess you have to be a lousy vampire to be a good vampire detective.
Vampire detective? That is a first.
We worked together to track down the vamp who killed my mother, Deacon Frost. He didn't have to help me, but he did. Proves that even the baddest of the bad can still have a heart, even if it's not beating. Resisting succumbing to your own darkness takes a shitload of willpower. I'm proud of you for resisting yours. Just don't fall off the wagon.
What happens if I do?
Then I'll just have to kill you, just like I killed my mentor Jamal.
You never told me what happened with that.
Well, here's the abridged version. Dracula turned Jamal into a Class A Nosferatu, and I had no choice but to put him down. Hardest thing I ever had to do. But mark my words, Hunter. If you ever go 100% evil on me, I won't think twice about taking you out too.
And I give you permission to.
You do?
If I ever became a danger to others, I would want you to put me down.
Let's just hope it never comes to that. Already lost enough friends that way. Don't want to lose another.
Then here is to not killing each other.
I'll drink to that. Oh, and Hunter, this blood's for you.
Hunter, consider yourself the only invitee to my favorite meat time spot.
The only one? How did I win that honor?
I'll spare you the sappy stuff, but you've climbed to the top of my friendship ladder. Almost at the top.
I am honored that you think of me that way. The feeling is mutual. You're a great friend, and I...
Chill there, Hunter. You are getting too close to awkward territory.
But how will I show my appreciation if not through conversations like these that I now feel the need to have all the time?
Don't.
All the time, Nico. Maybe if I was at the top of the ladder and not close to the top, I would keep my mouth shut.
Fine, you're at the top, okay? I can't say it. You know how I feel. Just save my part of this conversation in your head and call it done.
1 second. That was sweet. Okay, done.
Good.
I'm surprised your favorite spot is the chapel.
Believe it or not, my family used to go to church religiously when I was a kid, so pretentious old buildings give me this comforting vibe. It wasn't always like this.
What changed?
Do I look like a psych major? But if I had to guess, I would say I needed to peel the rotten layers my dear mom left behind to get to my healthier innards. You know, onion style. And I took your advice. I accepted what happened with my parents.
I'm impressed. Acceptance takes strength and courage.
Well, you know, I'm a badass, but I even surprised myself here. Now, there is no holding me back, and like you've been there for me, I'll be there for you. When we face your mom one final time, I want you to know I got your back. Whatever you need, I'm your witch.
Carol Carol, this was your book, so you can start.
I'll throw it back to you. What did you think of the book?
I had a rough time with it.
You didn't like it?
Didn't say that. At first I spent more time referencing the glossary than reading the book.
Sounds familiar. What changed?
I noticed a kind of rhythm to the words. I began to see them as lyrics to a song. All that dry talk faded and it finally came together. The lyrics made it feel much bigger than a chapter on Cree farming implements.
This book was about much more than farming.
Exactly. The rhythm to it helped paint a bigger picture. Once I caught on, I kept reading and didn't rely on the glossary. I picked everything up from context. That's when I realized none of this was about farming. I'm surprised how much stuck with me, despite some concepts being legit alien to me.
Agreed. For me, the rhythm wasn't lyrics. It was more like the book was written to a cadence.
That's why I had you read it on your Spark. The mnemonic lexicon won't work with a hard copy.
The what now?
An ancient Cree technique. It helps you remember texts that would otherwise be considered... There's no Cree word for stuffy, but essentially that. But all that's packaging. Let's get into the book itself. Hunter, did you figure out what the bloom and the harvest represent?
The bloom represents the range of a fortress. The harvest happens when enemies enter that range.
That's one vital part. You're right, the bloom can represent overlapping fields of fire, but it's more than one concept. At the time of the book's writing, the Cree cared most about integrating captured territory while still expanding their empire. Conquered worlds came with people. Rather than treat them as prisoners, the Cree provided them with most benefits enjoyed by Cree citizens. This period is known as the cultivation.
So the bloom was when they gained full citizenship under their conquerors?
No, it's when the world requested it. As long as they could feed themselves with Cree farming techniques and defend their world with Cree defenses, the request was granted with few exceptions.
So what's the harvest?
As part of the service required by the Empire, many of these new citizens began the cultivation of freshly conquered worlds.
So they were living examples. Show the newly conquered what they could achieve if they went along with the Empire.
That's also how vampires work.
Carol, I think I pieced together the Cree strategy.
Do tell.
It's all tied to agriculture. Every soldier knows you can't fight if you can't eat, but they applied this to their expansion. Till the field, sow the seed, pull the weed, reap the crop. It means the Cree wouldn't advance until the territory they took was secure and productive.
To their enemies, the Cree advance would seem steady and inevitable.
That's what I think. Expand too fast and you overextend yourself. I saw that happen in Operation Market Garden. But the Cree expansion had momentum. They could afford to push harder because their whole weight was behind the advance. Unless a world could push just as hard, it would eventually fall under Cree control. Carol, how was that?
Close enough to impress me. The strategy in Volume 32 wasn't perfect, but it worked out for the Cree far more often than it failed.
What happened when it failed?
That's covered in Volume 33.
And that's Book Club. Steve, you're up next. What's your book?
The Mantle of Authority, by General Chester Phillips.
Is this the one you keep saying I should read?
The very same. Now you have to. It's book club. I hope you enjoy the book I chose.
Why do you say that?
It's about people who weren't around until after your death. But I'm sure you'll figure out the context.
So why choose this book?
Volume 30 was way too spicy for this crowd.
Go on.
I'm kidding. It's relevant to what we're facing today. Hydra, the Lilin, your mom, they seem to have the upper hand all over the world.
The Cree never conquered this planet. Neither will my mother.
Exactly. Reputation makes you seem bigger than you are. We can hit them anywhere at any time. You can bet this adds to our own reputation. And that's how we defeat our enemy. As long as we're still standing, they're gonna fall.
Okay, just between us, Carol's book was extremely weird, right?
I learned a thing or two.
What, how to grow turnips on the moon?
That is harsh.
I didn't think it was that bad. But interstellar agriculture as a metaphor for planetary conquest, not what I expected.
You should be honest with Carol.
I'm always honest with Carol. But if I tell her it was a weird book, I'll sound like I don't know much about her adopted culture.
And how is that bad? You do not know, so this is the perfect opportunity to ask.
Good point. All right, I'll do it. Thanks, Hunter.
Good luck.
I see you've been making friends. That's good.
I'm trying.
Just don't take it personally if some folks are a little, rough around the edges.
You were speaking of magic.
I was trying to beat around the bush.
Was she friendly with the other X-Men?
Friendly in her own way, sure.
You must have seen something good in her.
You, of all people, should know it's more complicated than good or bad. I've known her older brother Colossus for a long time. Magic's been through the ringer. We all have.
But you two got along.
She gave away little bits and pieces about herself over time. I never pushed her. She seemed to like that.
Patience.
Key to any good relationship. I know you mean well. So does Magic.
In her own way.
See? You got it.
I've hunted with a lot of different folks in my day. But there's one question I ask the special cases.
And I suppose I am one of those special cases.
Indeed you are. But a little more what that means later.
By all means, ask your question.
What do you do after we beat Lilith and stop the prophecy of the Midnight Sun?
I have much to catch up on. For example, this whole America experiment.
It's been quite a century, and we're only 20 years in. Hearing you have a goal after is nice. Special cases are when I get the impression there's nothing beyond the immediate goal.
The immediate goal matters most.
Tell that to Eric Brooks and the Daywalker Trio. When humanity's safe from evil, whenever that happens, I retire to New Orleans and play jazz trumpet, happier and livelier than this city in summertime. I'm more than a vampire hunter, and the other heroes who understand that there's a dream beyond the mission have a better grasp on life. And I got another life I'm looking forward to living.
Slay evil, enjoy life.
Right on. It's living that makes the fight worth fighting. Reflect on that, Hunter.
Aliens, doomsday prophecies, demons, elder gods?
Are you experiencing existential dread spirals?
Yes! How do I stop my science-minded brain melting into whimpering sludge?
Enjoy your favorite dishes with friends. Taste buds ground us in reality, and good company provides distraction.
Oh man, Aunt May makes the best clam linguine. No matter what I'm dealing with, that recipe makes me whole.
Unfortunately, home cooking is not anyone's forte at the Abbey.
Is it reckless to ask Ileana to open a portal for some takeout? Never mind. I heard myself say it. It does seem frivolous. You know what? Perhaps the best way to get my head on straight is to learn to cook. I'm gonna try my hand at Aunt May's clam linguine.
Noodles and seafood.
Yeah. I think it'll be my way of eating tentacled gods. I will literally eat my fears. Thanks, Hunter. I think that was helpful. The sky routinely cracks open these days, so I guess I really don't know anything.
Stark convinced me to put a shot of his new Stark Drive energy drink in my coffee.
Stark Drive?
Sure. It tastes like sweaty gym sock dipped in coffee, but at least it wakes you up. And if we're headed to Transia, I'm gonna need it. This thing could last 24 hours or 24 days. Hard to tell.
This group does not waste time. We will strike at Hydra and Transia quickly, and we will win.
Now there's a real rah-rah spirit I can get behind. I've got no time for long stays overseas. I don't like to pack a toothbrush, and my transient is pretty terrible.
It makes sense that Lilith would go back there. Back to her homeland, that is. Back to the source of her powers.
She's gonna be in for a real nasty shock if she's looking for home. It's not like the old days with the Knights of Wundagore riding around the place. Red Skull and Hydra did a pretty good job of screwing Transia up in every way possible.
The people of Transia are good at heart. There is natural beauty there. We can still save the country from the destruction brought upon it.
We go smash Hydra, and while we're there, we'll plant some trees? Sounds like a plan.
It looks like the others are gathering now in the war room.
Yep, I'll head that way myself. Just need a few more sips of sweaty gym sock.
Hey, you know what sucks?
What?
Having your weapon manifest out of your chest. It feels weird.
Your staff. Tell me about its properties.
Well, to summon it, I need to use my own blood. Pretty metal, right?
Blood does contain iron, yes.
Good thing I'm not queasy. Yeah, that would make me a pretty bad blood witch.
Why do you bleed?
That's just the price I pay. To top it all off, my staff only responds to a spell once.
So you must be decisive with your casting?
That's putting it lightly. I don't like to have the staff bursting from my chest like a baby alien for nothing.
Is it sentient?
Well, it has a name, the Staff of One, and it listens to my words, so kinda? Well, we don't need to get into the philosophy of it. That'll get me feeling all existential.
Noted. Thank you for letting me in on your pain.
Well, when you put it that way, you make it sound so... emo.
To think, long ago the nation of Transia was once the seat of power for the heroic Knights of Wundagore.
Might as well be Camp Hydra these days.
They're pulling in reinforcements from everywhere. But reinforcing what exactly?
Mount Wundagore. There's been something wrong with that place for as long as I can remember.
Something like this.
Nothing wrong with that. Now we know where to strike. Time for a little payback on Queen, Demon... No? Right. Make one slight mistake.
Handing my mother the last page of the Darkhold?
Bringing back the Hulk.
Okay, same mistake. Technically, fine. You take point then.
Roger that.
Actually, how about you let us handle things? The Sanctum, Tony's Gamma Death Star, Wanda... Think about it. Every time we listen to you all, some new catastrophe seems to happen. You're not our babysitter, Hunter. You're our leader. And we are the Midnight Suns. We're family.
And family's family. So this time...
We got your back.
Then what are we waiting for?
What if we aim for his heart or something?
He's not a vampire. He's a gamma-powered muscle man.
Juiced up with a heavy dose of Lilith's corruption.
In other words, we're screwed.
Look, I know Lilith is like a dark goddess with an extra angry Hulk as her number 2.
Don't forget the Parchment of Power. She's got that too, which is like super OP.
But we've got something that she doesn't.
A death wish?
No, dude. We've got friends. Each other. We're the Midnight Suns. And you know what we Suns do?
We rise.
We've got this, guys. We have to believe in ourselves if we're gonna pull this off. Blade, Robbie, you know what to do, right?
We'll see you soon, Nico.
Better not leave me hanging, because our entire continued existence depends on us.
Right. No pressure. It's just the end of the world.
Not if we can help it.
Demon energy barriers or jolly green monsters?
Then they are ours.
All along, Wanda was right.
She usually is.
Right, one problem at a time. Midnight Suns, assemble! Or whatever.
Yes, Midnight Suns assemble or whatever.
Why not? Buy us some time! Get inside while you can! Leave that to me!
Punch it!
Hell yeah!
You alone among your kind can serve as the conduit of my power, precious child. Liber tenebris reversus es nobis. Only a few moments longer. Together we will reforge the Darkhold and usher in...
It's over, lady!
Mother, no! Stop this!
Lucky shot. She won't hit me again.
But it is all for you. Everything I do is always for you, child.
Block her out! She gave up the right to call you that word when she sold her soul to that monster.
The truth shall reveal itself soon enough, sister.
Even with her attention focused on that damn book, Lilith's barrier will not be easy to bring down.
Yeah, but the cave shore is. Midnight Suns disassemble.
Now you're talking.
This temple was buried for another 1,000 years. I'd watch your head.
That barrier is still holding.
Liber tenebris reversus es nobis.
Get out of there, now! You've done more than anyone could ask.
Almost! Yo, Demon Lady! One thing, before we go. This is for
Johnny Blaze.
No! The spell must not be interrupted!
Now we may leave.
Mother.
Your mother died centuries ago. Now get out of there!
In the next episode.
So what do you say? You man enough to face me?
You wanna dance with someone, Rumlow? Dance with me.
About friggin' time! Hail Hydra!
Besides, there will be plenty of other tournaments for me and Peter to dominate.